So when they asked me to speak about not only running a business, but growing a business and thriving a business in such a challenging economy, I think there was really two things that made me maybe uniquely qualified for it, or at least uniquely qualified for the particular time frame we're in. Number one, being in the investment world, I think our business and our clients have probably experienced a lot of the pain on a daily basis, even more than the average person. And secondly, through my nationally syndicated radio show, I've spoke to thousands of people about the troubles they're having with employment, with mortgages, through the housing crisis, through their investments, their 401k statements. And so one of the things that we've seen is, regardless of the business that you're in, I think there's a number of things that we've done in our business that can transfer over to you, even if you're not an investment professional, that can help you grow your business because your competitors aren't doing them. And although they seem simplistic or maybe a little bit, no kidding, Jamie, what a brilliant idea that is. The reality is, if you really apply them, truly believe them, then you can grow your business just like we have. So how have we grown our business? Well, in 2008, probably one of the worst years to be an investment advisor, we tripled our revenue. Since 2008, we've quadrupled our revenue from there. We've grown clients, we've grown assets, we've added offices across the country, all during one of the most difficult times to be in the investment world. Our industry is changing greatly. We've lost thousands, tens of thousands of people in our industry because they weren't prepared to change how they did business as the business itself changed. So it really comes down to three things, and I think you'll find in your business it's really no different than it is in our business. The first one is you have to understand what your client or customer really truly wants and also really truly needs. Because so often I think we think what we know our client wants, or we think we know what our client needs, but we're basing it off of information that might be old or invalid. So for instance, in my business, if you own a 401k or you invest normally, or you watch cable news or any of those other things, you'll know there's a couple mantras that are repeated probably from your advisor just as much as it is in the newspaper or television. The first one is you should have a balanced asset allocation. That if you take 100 and you minus your age, that should be the amount of stocks you own in your portfolio. If you hold on and you simply stay the course, the market will always return to profitability. But what we found is when everything was crashing down around us, when bonds, stocks, and everything else was falling, that in that time of crisis, our clients didn't want to hear any of that. Our clients wanted to hear that we knew what we were doing, that we had a plan to help them succeed, and that we were going to help them through one of the most difficult times that our country has seen since the Great Depression. So when you look at your clients, really establish what it is they need from you. What do they want from you? And then make sure you're delivering that on a daily basis. The other thing that we've got to know is we've got to know to not deviate away from, not be afraid to deviate away from what everyone else is doing. If you want to be like your competitor, then you're going to be out of business. Because why would a client come to you? They'll just go to your competitor. They're probably more established. They have a more well-known name. They probably are already doing it better than what you could do it if you're going to do exactly what they're doing. So when we looked at the investment world, we knew it was time to change the way things were done. We weren't going to be selling products to our clients. We weren't going to be talking to them about all the things everyone else was talking about, like I was just saying, asset allocation and all these other things. We were going to talk about how to help them preserve the nest egg that they grew, and we were going to show them a plan to make that possible. We took each individual situation for those clients and we built them a plan for good times and bads, which, let's face it, the way things have been lately volatility-wise, it's starting to look pretty smart. Now, if your investment planner or your investment advisor or your broker is not doing that for you, and you just thought to yourself, boy, I wish my guy did that, what do you think our clients are saying? Our clients are screaming to their friends and neighbors how happy they are with us. They're telling their folks that they're not afraid. They're not unsure. They're not waking up in the middle of the night in cold sweats. They're not having to call their broker 6 or 7 times a week because they already have a plan in place for when this type of thing happens. When market adjustments happen, we already know what we're going to do for our clients. If you're not doing that for your clients, if you're not deviating away from what everyone else is doing, then the reality is you're no different than your competition. So how can you ever expect to beat them? You know, Peter Drucker once said, the entrepreneur is the person who always searches for change, responds to it, and then exploits it as an opportunity. You have to be unafraid to step out on the ledge. You have to be willing to do what no one else is doing in order to take it to the next level and become the example of what everyone else eventually wants to be. The other thing you have to do is, when we built our business, one of the most important things we looked at is, if I were a client, would I want to be a client of my business? Would I choose to come to my business and I would choose us to manage my money if I wasn't affiliated with it? Now, it seems simplistic, but if everything that you do when you drive your business falls back on that principle, imagine how powerful that is in all the choices that you make. If you can honestly sit back and look at your business and say, I would be a client of this, I would be happy to be a client of this company, then the good likelihood is your clients are happy to be clients of it. But you've got to look at it honestly, and you've got to look at it kind of outside of your normal realm. If you're looking at it as a business owner, you'll probably be kind of unrealistic with yourself. Oh, we do great things. There are many companies that are no longer with us that thought their customers and clients loved them, only to find out later when they left that maybe they didn't love them as much as they thought. You know, the Kmarts of the world soonly were gobbled up and spit back out when all of their customers went to Walmart or Target because Kmart had lost connection with their clients. There's a lot of investment firms that are no longer with us because they thought their name was all that was important to the client. What we found was, if we honestly look at how we do business, and if we honestly look at whether we would want to be clients of our business, then everything we do is for the better of our client. There's an anonymous quote, it kicks around a lot. Nobody knows who originally said it, but I think it's a great example of this. And that is, customer service is not a department, it's not a position in your company, it's everyone's job in your company to make sure your clients are always taken care of. So I guess if I can leave you with anything, I don't think you have to recreate the world or recreate your industry to be successful in your business. We took one of the most difficult times in our industry, a time when people were leaving in droves because they could not compete and they didn't know what to do. And we made that one of our crowning achievements as a company. We grew in leaps and bounds during one of the most difficult and probably painful recessions this country's seen in 70 years. And the way we did it was taking those three principles and applying them to every single thing that we did. So remember, you want to understand what your client truly wants, what your client truly needs. And a great way to do that, as a side note, is ask them. Ask the clients you have now, the clients you want more of. Take your client that you really would love to duplicate. If you could make 80 more clients like him, ask him, what does he want? What does he need? What do you do that makes him or her happy? And make sure you're doing that on a regular basis going forward. You want to make sure, of course, that you're not afraid to challenge. Don't do what everyone else is doing. It's important to make sure that you do what you do it as best as you can possibly do it, and that's how you end up being better than your competition. And finally, always run a business that you would be a client of. If you would not be your client, if you would not work with your company unless you were the owner of it, why on earth would anyone else ever want to do that? So from that, I'll tell you, I'll send you off on your way. I appreciate you listening to me. I hope that I've helped you move forward. I hope that I've helped you look into what you can do with your business. It's been extremely successful for us. And in a very short amount of time, we went from a local little two-man office financial advisory firm to a firm with reaches all across the country, with thousands of clients, with dozens of advisors, and a nationally syndicated radio show. And we've done that always concentrating on those three principles. Thank you.